Talking to buyers. Today, I'm going to be talking to everyone, but I have a special segment I'd like to start with. I'm going to start talking to buyers because we are in a buyer's market. So again, Judy Moulton, Grateful Mindset Properties Realty Radio host, broker in charge at Grateful Mindset Properties, buyer coach, and certified expert listing agent in Western North Carolina, South Carolina, and beyond. Coming to you live from 107.7 FM and AM 1450 and online at gratefulmindsetproperties.com. So buyers, let's chat. So I want to take a few moments to address you in particular. Contact me today to discuss your home search from a local expert with a researcher's mind and a servant's heart. And here is why. Hello there. My name is Judy Moulton. I'm a broker in charge for Grateful Mindset Properties. I'm a retired clinician with years of experience helping people problem solve. I'm licensed to help you buy and sell real estate in North Carolina and South Carolina. I can also vet agents for you anywhere in the world and get you property facts and details worldwide. I'm a buyer's coach, as I mentioned, and a certified expert listing agent with a realty radio show that has over 8,000 local listeners and over 12,000 national. No other agent has the experience, years of knowledge, and attentiveness that I do. Folks, we've been in a buyer's market since August 2024. Why, you may ask? The big three. Number one, interest rates remain high. They have been. They've stayed steady in the 6 to 7%, 6.9, 6.8, 7.1, 7.2% for over 11 months. We've toggled between those high to mid sixes to the very beginning of the 7%. We haven't seen interest rates that high for a few years. It's been over 11 months. Two, inflation. So again, interest rates, number one. Number two, inflation. The cost to live and work in the U.S. has continued to remain high. Consumer products affect the cost of all purchases. 17% of the U.S. economy relies on real estate with high interest rates, high inflation, and politics. So the pending change back in August of 2024, the pending change in the political climate almost a year ago to the current state of affairs has placed sellers holding on to what they own. They had a lower interest rate 5, 10, 20, 30, 40 years ago. 1%, 3%. Why would they want to pay 6 to 7%, possibly more if their debt to income is too high? Now, if you're a buyer and you can buy down the rate, if you need to sell your home first, all of these things, equity in the home, if you have fractional ownership that we can look at, I will help explain all those things. 1031 exchanges, I got you. So continuing to talk to my buyers out there. So what's going on? Okay, so number one, interest rates. Number two, inflation. Three, political climate. Why is that important? Why is that important? Because of uncertainty. We had an uncertainty starting in August 2024. We have uncertainty today. We don't know what happens when people, again, retired clinician folks, so behavioral health, trauma specialist, removing unhealthy stress. So what happens if uncertainty is a point of mindset? People hold on to the things they can control. Money is something that people try to control. It is a known fact. So keeping that in mind, that is important. What else? So I've been effective, at finding my folks' homes regardless. My consumer focus, my research background, and ability to find facts quickly allow my buyers and me to work effectively as a team. I, like no other agent I have met, focus on value for my clients. I think of the process as if it were my own. If you're buying and you need to sell first, if you're a seller and you want to buy, but again, buyers, take a look at those facts. If I were buying it, what would I consider? I want to pay, I want to spend the least amount possible, right? So I look at material facts. I make sure I advocate for you as if I was advocating for myself. Very important to note. So my experience, my years of knowledge, very important. What else? I, like no other agent, I allow you to control the decision, but I control the process. I give you the step-by-steps, the ABCs, the 1, 2, 3s. I have a consumer focus, research background, and ability to find facts quickly, as I mentioned, but I also look at the 80-10-10 rule. This rule suggests that when looking for a home, we want to focus on 80% of features you absolutely need, then consider the next 10%, the things you like, and finally, the remaining 10%, the nice to haves. So to learn more, let's schedule a call. Please reach out for any reason or no reason. Any questions, any things you want to know about. I'm a local expert. I can help you find it. Even if you're not going to buy it, 10 years from now, 5 years from now, 2 years from now, I will help you with the step-by-step process. So any feelings, any concerns about this process, whether you're buying or selling, I will walk you through it step by step, allowing us to work together in a user-friendly, open line of communication way, giving you weekly updates. I view every step, like I said, as if it were my own. Please call 828-290-0940. Reach out to me via email at Judy with an I, JDI, at gratefulmindsetproperties.com. Again, contact me today to discuss your home search from a local expert, 828-290-0940, Judy with an I, at gratefulmindsetproperties.com. Okay, folks, so let's talk about some other things, some other facts, some other human interest, science, data, news you can use. So I'd like to mention today's show is sponsored by Grateful Mindset Properties, also affectionately known as GMP, focusing on value. We strive to be of value for you, and then with that comes the successful choices that you make, the best decisions possible with our experts. What else? Meliora, also a local sponsor, is owned and operated by Andrea Martin, a proud Hendersonville native, and as Andrea likes to say, Meliora, Meliora, is better by design and rooted in community. Meliora offers 7 styles of cabinets, styles on a budget. They also offer luxury vinyl tile, hardwood, engineered and tile flooring, everything you need to create a space that feels like you, feels like home. Like Grateful Mindset Properties, Meliora proudly partners with local builders to ensure your vision comes to life. Craftsmanship and care at every step. Meliora House of Design is a one-stop shop, just like Grateful Mindset Properties. So Grateful Mindset Properties focuses on buying and selling, property management, leasing property, investments. Meliora House of Design focuses on your one-stop shop for your interior design needs. You can reach Meliora House of Design in Hendersonville at 427 North Church Street or online at melioracabinetry.com, or give Andrea a call at 828-393-0189. Andrea at melioracabinetry.com is her email. melioracabinetry.com is her website. Thank you so much, folks. I know I really am grateful. I'm really mindful. I'm very grateful to have my local listeners. 8,000 local, 12,000 national, where the heavens kiss the peaks, WHKP, 107.7 AM 1450. I mean, I take a moment, I close my eyes if you're seeing this on video, because I like to visualize, I like to focus on the value that I bring and on the value that I receive by being able to do the things that I love and get paid for it. So let's see. For our buyers listening, our highlighted listing today, 320 Dawnbrook. 320 Dawnbrook is in Kenmure. It's a standalone condo with a complete walkout in-law suite. Any questions at all, go on our website at gratefulmindsetproperties.com. Please take a look if you're looking at this video. For our sellers, our attentive research certified listing experts, we are certified experts. We get under contract in a day, just sold in a matter of days. Let's talk about that. 1105 citation, 1 day. 550 Old Newfound, 3 days. 3503 Mountaintop, 1 month or less. Why? Because we can work with both sides of the transaction. We understand what it means to keep information clear in terms of boundaries, in terms of loyalty, in terms of doing what is best for both sides. What else? 3501 Mountaintop, 1 day. 111 Continental, 7 days. I mean, the list goes on. I mean, you can also just go on Grateful Mindset Properties. You can go on Zillow.com. We are a featured firm on Zillow. We are top of Zillow, best of Zillow. So if you're a buyer or a seller, we are showcased there. No other firm has that. So you can see it. An example, 320 Dawnbrook. Go on Zillow, see our showcase. What else can I tell you? Some other news you'll use, right? 30-year is at 6.7%, 15-year at 5.8%. They're hanging tight, right in that, right below 7s, right below 6s. I mean, we have, like I said, the rates have hanged on tight for the last 11 stop months. So, and of course, there are some problem-solving solutions. You might have equity in your home. You might be able to get an equity loan, what used to be called a bridge loan. You might be able to get a personal loan. You might be able to get a construction loan. You might be able to buy down the rate. All of that. For more details, shout out for any reason. One-stop shop, Grateful Mindset Properties, 828-290-0940 or 828-290-0940, gratefulmindsetproperties.com, Judy at gratefulmindsetproperties.com. All of those places, you'll find us, Judy with an I. Okay, let's take a look. So, blending art and science, buy now, always a good time to buy and sell in North Carolina and South Carolina, known as vacation areas. Buncombe County is pretty much held strong in terms of price dropping, which is Asheville. Henderson County, Hendersonville, #1 place since 2019, #1 place to live in all of the state of North Carolina. Why? We have a firm here. We have 2 firms here, one on the Acosta Trail, as well as one at 627 7th Ave. We have one in Greer, in Spartanburg County in South Carolina. Why? Why is that important to note? Because we have the hybrid approach, we have the physical approach, we have the ability to anticipate proactively what's happening in the market, staying ahead and keeping competent, confident information with our buyers and sellers. So let's do some more news you'll use. So real estate news includes reports on international buyers. Still remains in that 47 to 50% are paying cash. They are looking at the 7% rule. So the 7% rule is for investors. What does that mean? 7% rule is a guideline for real estate investors, suggesting that a property's annual gross income should be at least 7%. So when you're looking at your rate of returns, your ROI, you're looking at your ROI, your rate of investment, you want that 7% rule. You want to see that so Vantage Score Credit Rating is looking at this and saying, hey, you want 7% rule for investors. Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac are also using the Vantage Score and in terms of creditor ratings. So if you're a buyer, keep that in mind. But we all look at data points and information to allow us to make executive decisions. So again, my clients, you control the decision. I control the process, the step-by-step, vendor support, pre-inspections with a licensed contractor, residential builder. I help staging, we help you with that, professional photography, videos, all of that. What else? Let's talk about the 80-10-10. I mentioned it earlier in case you missed the beginning of this. So this rule suggests that when looking for a home, some news you can use, 80-10-10, whether you're buying or selling, this is important, with 80% being the features that you absolutely need, okay? Then consider the 10% things you like and finding the remaining 10%, the nice to haves. 1-car garage, 2-car garage, or a carport. The ability, I call it garage ability or deck ability, the ability to develop those things, to imagine them now, have the ability to anticipate what they'll look like, and the funds to be able to creatively construct that. Okay, some additional usable stats. Some additional usable stats that we want to consider. What's happening? Starter home sales. Starter home sales rose 4% in June, a bright spot in a sluggish housing market. San Diego recorded an 18% spike in the starter home sales. Excuse me, I'm talking through my nose right now because I'm talking so, emphatically that getting that breathing out there, getting that emphasis out there on what's happening and news you can use. So what's happening? So 3.9%, about 4% increase in June. So last June to this June, let's see, San Diego recorded an 18% spike in starter home sales. So starter home sales right now are about 5 to 35% increases over the last 12 months. What does that mean? The median price point for a starter home. So new inventory, right now we've got lots of inventory on the market right now. We're flooded with inventory because of those 1, 2, 3s, right? Inflation, interest rates, and politics, or uncertainty. So starter homes in the 260 price range, 260,000 price range, we've seen those as a viable option. And again, about 4% there. The mid-range, about 35 to 65%, are buying homes at 370,000. So this is across the United States. The highs, and that includes Western North Carolina and South Carolina, the high 65 to 95%, we're looking at about 577,000. We're at about 2.7% increase for the year. Luxury, which is about top 5%, the luxury industry starts at about 1 million to 1.2 million. That median price point or median price range has held steady for about 4%. It's about 4% in terms of what we're looking at across the United States. So in comparison, sales of mid-price homes, 35 to 65 percentile of the market by sale price, fell 0.9% year over year. So just historically, if we're looking historically, we have the lowest amount of sales equating to 2009. And that is because we are flooded in the market right now with inventory that's been on the market for a while, means it needs work, it's underdeveloped, it's not been finished. So new inventory, we're looking at maybe about 2 to 5 years before we get more flat with that. But in terms of the low budget, that starter home, also fractional ownership, I know I've been talking about that. So getting help from friends, neighbors, people maybe that you've rented to or that you rent with, other family members, that's a way to get into the market. So all of those things are possible. So let's see, what else? Pending sales of starters homes, like I said, they rose. In a market where it's difficult for most Americans to afford a dream home, many are turning towards those starter homes, right? So even starter homes are too expensive for a large number of Americans. So buying fractionally, right? Buying with friends, neighbors, family members. If you need to sell first, because we're in a buyer's market, I will help guide you through that process. 1031 exchanges, I will help guide you through that process. What else? So a big reason for the slowing price growth is soaring inventory, right? It's called supply and demand, folks, right? When we're flooded in the market with too much inventory and uncertainty, and people kind of holding on to what they have because the one thing they can control, right, or they try to control, is what's in their pockets, in their bank account. So that has made it, there's more inventory on the market, right? So definitely in a buyer's market since August of 24, we don't see that changing for at least the next 2 to 5 years. So if you need to sell. And you can sell, it doesn't, but you know what? And you offset that by maybe something you buy, right? So it balances out, right? So when you're looking at that, cost benefit analysis, it evens itself out. What else is going on? Prices, let's see, metro level. So prices, the median sales price on starter homes that rose most was Milwaukee, Detroit, Newark, New Jersey. The largest areas that fell were San Antonio, Texas, Austin, Texas. So kind of keeping that in mind. What else? And they fell in the areas that fell, including Asheville, when I say Asheville, I mean Buncombe County, fell at about 88,000 to 98,000 or greater per property. So keep that in mind. Let's see, active listings, Las Vegas, we've got about a 55% increase, San Diego 44%, Phoenix 43%. What else? Speed of sales, we're looking at about anywhere from 30 days, 39 days, 6 months. I mean, property has been sitting longer than it ever has. So keep that in mind. That is what's happening. All right, let's talk about some other news you can use. 5 tips to staging your home. So now I'm talking directly to my sellers. So buyers, you may be listening, and I really appreciate it. I'm grateful for everyone who listens to my show, who watches our show on YouTube, who watches our show on Facebook, on Nextdoor, on GratefulMindsetProperties.com, on podcasts, on Apple. Spotify. Anyway, so 5 tips for staging your home. Number 1, declutter and clean. So the art of staging a home, things that can have a negative impact on a potential sale, why things have been sitting on the market 45, 60 days or longer, is not only interest rates, is not only the fact that it takes a little longer for underwriting now, where because of all of the climate change experiences, it's taking longer for appraisals to happen and reappraise and evaluate the value of property. So decluttering and cleaning, number 1. Before thinking about decorations or furniture placement, the number 1 suggestion is to declutter and deep clean. Hire a cleaning company, clean those baseboards, clean that ceiling, remove those dings on the wall, right? So declutter and deep clean. Clear countertops and other surfaces. Pack away anything that is not essential. Pack away those non-essentials. Your goal is to remove anything that will distract the buyer's eye from seeing it in a positive aspect. And we want them to imagine, this is what I tell my clients all the time, imagine them living there, So I say to my buyers, if you could wave a magic wand, what would make this the perfect home? To a seller, if you would wave a magic wand, what could you do to make this the perfect home for the next buyer so they can imagine themselves living there, right? Buyers, imagine yourself living there, right? Okay, what else? Group furniture, number 2. Once you've removed furniture that is unnecessary or too large for the space, group furniture into a conversational space. Move those chairs, that couch, that TV. Imagine it, if there's a TV, imagine it in a conversational mindset, okay? So what else? Group things away from the wall instead of pushing sofas and chairs into corners, group them in a conversational way. You want there to be a flow in each room. You want there to be something that can highlight each room as well. So keeping the walls clear of big furniture will actually make the room feel bigger, says HGTV. Accessories in odd numbers. Although you'll need to declutter, you'll still want your space to feel like a lived-in home. So do this by decorating with groups of accessories like vases, books, or plants, but putting away all of the children's toys, all of your shoes, all of your, equipment, whatever work you might be doing. Staging professionals, hire us. We'll give you some tips and tricks that will highlight the property, okay? What else? Add 1 or 2 bold accents. While you want to keep your staging decor fairly neutral, including your painting, your carpets, etc., adding 1 or 2 bold accents, a piece of, whether it's furniture or art, something that helps highlight the feature of the home. Adding a dramatic chandelier that matches the style of your dining room or entryway. Even if a fabulous bathroom will not only add light to it, or maybe some warm lighting, but bring architectural interest to the space as well. Use mirrors. Number 5, use mirrors. Mirrors can help brighten a dark hallway. Mirrors can bring light into a room and make a room seem larger, says Forbes. If you're not familiar, Forbes magazine, Forbes is a company that looks at business and the impact of business. For a big impact, get a cheap mirror and add a decorative frame, or something that we do a lot for our sellers to really show, or buyers, if need be, if they're buying and selling, to really emphasize the beautiful home that they once lived in. Is we get artwork done. We get a watercolor, and we frame it with a beautiful frame, and that glass has the mirror feeling, the mirror effect. So sellers, you can even take a picture beforehand and do the same thing and blow it up, and same color frames, and things mountains that you visited in the area. Again, that glass mirror effect will make the room feel bigger and larger. And putting those mirrors in groupings, just like different shapes and sizes of furniture, do the same thing in each room. So that is it, folks. Those are the 5 things, right? Decluttering, deep clean, group furniture in a conversational way, accessories, make sure you declutter and put those things away, but put things like accessories together. Add 1 or 2 bold accents, some features in each room. Use mirrors or glass, framed watercolors, etc. Let's look at some other news you can use. Let's talk about the anticipatory response. There's a retired clinician who talks about the anticipatory response, or who still supervises other clinicians and trains. One of the things, besides offering this in the art form, what I've always dreamed of, my somatic art classes, somatic drawing classes that will now be held at 627 7th Avenue, as well as pre-licensing classes. We've already got pre-licensing individuals pre-signed up on an interest list of 5 or more right now. So we're going to be offering it at AB Tech in November, but we're hopefully in September as well. We're going to be offering so AB Tech in Asheville, but also in Hendersonville, pre-licensing. You'll be able to take classes in that. So anticipation of that, but also the anticipatory response and the agility to be able to focus on that. So one of the things that we know in psychology, positive psychology or psychology in general, besides somatic drawing now being available once a month at 627 7th Avenue here in Hendersonville, is that one of the things we know is what's called the anticipatory response, being able to balance both art and science, looking at anticipation, focusing on things that you want to enjoy, things that you want to do, things that you want to create. So that is very powerful. Being agile. So the anticipatory response is the set point for joy, is the set point for contentedness, is the set point for happiness. So focusing on that mindset, that knowing that the anticipation, focusing on goals and dreams and being in the moment and what's capable and what's possible and agile and being proactive versus reactive, thinking ahead, all very important. So what makes anticipation more powerful than agility? Agility emphasizes speed, but speed without direction is just motion, right? So anticipation is about direction backed by certainty. It's how forward-thinking companies like Grateful Mindset Properties, Apple, Salesforce continually redefine markets. What happens without an anticipatory mindset? Sears once ruled retail, but despite its brand strength and infrastructure, it failed to anticipate the rise of e-commerce. How can you start to build an anticipatory culture now? Begin with leadership. Culture flows from the top. Collaborate around hard trends. Encourage every team to participate in identifying certainties in their domain. We do this weekly. I teach my agents a skill not only of gratitude, but also, again, art and science, balancing those two things, using AI in marketing and advertising, anticipating that, using data points, using the hard data, but also utilizing, systems or algorithms to help participate and anticipate. Let's see what else. So collaboration, anticipation, the core of the anticipatory culture. Hard trend thinking, recognize what will happen and provide solutions. Problem pre-solving, addressing issues before they escalate. We do that every day at Grateful Mindset Properties. Low risk innovation, experimenting with confidence. We test the market when we list property. Nobody has a crystal ball. We can give you the stats, we can give you the facts, we can give you the research, we can give you the comps, but those first 2 weeks, we test the market to see who's interested and what it will sell for. What else? Scalable foresight. So low risk innovation, experimenting with confidence, but scalable foresight, embedding trend analysis into every function. So we trend, we analyze, and we embed it, okay? What else? Key tools that drive successes, AI, predictive analytics for real-time foresight, scenario mapping, to prepare for multiple futures. What else? Learning systems, training that reinforces future readiness. These aren't abstract theories, folks. They're concrete strategies already in use by forward-looking organizations like Grateful Mindset Properties and other programs and companies worldwide. Which industries, I'm sure you're thinking, which industries are most at risk without this culture? Retailers. Retailers still betting everything on foot traffic. You cannot just have brick and mortar. You must have a hybrid approach. We have hybrid firms as well as brick and mortar. You have to have a balance of two, of more than two, right? You have to think ahead and you have to predict the shopping data, right? So that's retailers. Healthcare systems built on reacting to illness instead of anticipating patient needs through wearables and diagnostics. Those healthcare systems that are utilizing AI, that are using virtual, that are, working within the systems and thinking ahead are striving and thriving. Those that are not risk, risk being left behind. Universities, those clinging to outdated models while not using an AI and hybrid approach to education to reshape learning, but to get the marketing and advertising pieces that are needed, but also the education pieces, that feedback loop. So AI can work as a feedback loop. Will you lead the future or be disrupted by it? We're innovators, we are disruptors, so disrupting in the real estate market, but we are an organization that thrives. But are you? Will you be an organization that thrives, will use these anticipatory changes and design for it? Make foresight part of everything, every decision, and every goal. We do that at GMP, at Grateful Mindset Properties. If you want to know more about how to do this, feel free to call me. Your host, Judy Moulton, Judy with an I, Grateful Mindset Properties Realty Radio host, coming to you live from WHKP 107.7 FM, 828-290-0940, gratefulmindsetproperties.com. And once again, I'd like to mention my additional sponsor, Meliora House of Design, right here in downtown Hendersonville at 427 North Church. Meliora, better things. You get better things at Meliora. You get Grateful Mindset at Grateful Mindset Properties. Thank you so much. Now, I know it says 31.
It's okay.
But I know that I also took a moment, because I was doing it by myself, so I took a moment to start it, to come over here, to feel composed before I started. So
That's awesome.